Good evening. I'll open the October 10th meeting of the Newton Planning Board, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. First item on the agenda is the public hearing continuation for a two-lot subdivision for Robert Lang, 2 New Boston Road, map 10, block 1, lot 13. We have been informed this afternoon that Mr. Lang is not going through with his subdivision, so I guess we close this?
Except that he's abandoned his application.
Right.
So you should make a motion.
To accept his abandonment of the application.
Mr. Hamlin, you making a motion?
Yep.
Second?
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Right, okay. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the continued public hearing for amended site plan for Coleman McDonough, 27-2 Puzzle Lane, map 14, block 1, lot 27-2. We got a communication from Mr. McDonough, and he asked for a continuance until the next meeting.
Move to continue the public hearing to October 24th, per the applicant's request, and please make sure that's in there.
Second.
Gail, what's the date of the ZBA hearing?
16th.
Second.
October 16th. Charlie Melvin, second.
Yep.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so, good, okay. Let's see. Okay. Acceptance of minutes from the September 26th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Did you?
There's got to be something
Make
wrong.
a change.
you make- Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Sock was in
Yeah.
attendance.
So wait a minute, who made the motion?
I did.
Okay,
And I seconded it.
okay.
And she already fixed it.
Oh, yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. We have budget sheet in front of us, and we can look at the budget. We have no correspondence, right?
We have to accept
No, we have no
the-
manifest,
No
excuse me.
manifest tonight, and we have one bit of correspondence from Merrimack, Mass. The planning board.
Okay, Merrimack. Oh, it's tonight.
Medical marijuana plant.
Oh, the Merrimack Planning Board. I guess this is Merrimack, Massachusetts.
Merrimack, Mass.
Will contend to conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, October 10th. In to consider for an amendment to their bylaws, so they wanted to change their prohibited uses by the addition of a subsection to read, "The operation of all types of non-medical marijuana establishments as defined in GLC 94G Section 1, including marijuana cultivators, marijuana testing facilities, marijuana product manufacturers, marijuana retailers, or any other type of licensed marijuana retail business within the town of Merrimack." So it's a prohibited use now, and so that's on their agenda for tonight.
There's quite a few towns doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just an FYI.
They were.
Yeah, I guess it's an FYI, right?
By the way, we have to have a public motion to accept the minutes, the non-public minutes.
Yeah, we didn't get there yet.
Oh, okay.
We just did the September 26th minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's what we
I
just-
didn't know if you wanted to have a motion.
Okay. Yeah, we do. I would like to have a motion on the non-public and public minutes of the October 5th meeting.
So moved. Oops, second.
Who made the motion?
Jim.
So you- that was
White.
just for the, Jim White.
That's for the October 5th.
The
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, yep.
Public and
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Okay. Before we start looking at the budget, did you have something that you want, okay, you're just here. I was waiting to see Coleman. Oh, yeah, he's not going to be here tonight. Sorry. Okay, do you have, can I have a copy, that copy? Thank you. So, the budget's going to be due by the end of the month, so we should start looking at it now and seeing if we need to tweak it anywhere or move things around, and that way we can give a finalized copy to the selectmen by the end of the month. Bye.
I do know that there's, was it a 1 cent increase in
I believe so.
the dues?
I don't think it was more than that. I think it's 99 cents at this point, but I can confirm your numbers for you tomorrow.
Oh, you mean that may be going
your
up for next
membership.
year?
It went up from last year, but only by a small percentage.
I thought it went up last year, too.
It did.
Wi-
Yep.
We're going up by like 1 cent every year.
Okay, but last year I thought it went up like total about like $300. Is that not correct?
I think your circuit rider may have gone up by about that. The
Oh,
dues should have only
right.
gone up
I
by
gotcha.
maybe
Okay.
$100 or $150.
Okay.
That's a smaller
Right,
increment.
What the commissioners decide to do is to do a penny increase each year for, I believe, 3 years, to just bring our dues into better alignment with the, your dues covers administrative costs and all of that stuff.
Right.
And
It's based on population of the
Right.
city, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so does this look like it's going to be an okay amount, or do we need to go higher? Or do we wait until you can give us a number?
I can email you the
Okay.
firm numbers tomorrow. I would say you're probably safe with that number. I don't think it went up more.
I would say not, because dues and subscriptions year-to-date is already more than what we had budgeted. So we're going to have to increase the budget.
Right,
Right, we're down by $164.
So we're going to have to make up that, plus whatever the increase is going to be.
correct.
Right.
Right,
So it's going to have to go up
right,
$300 or $400.
correct.
Is that only the RPC dues? I don't think your dues are that much.
Yeah, what others for subscriptions?
Yeah, I guess that's
Gets lumped in there.
just as a
That was
thought. I'll email you the correct numbers, but
I don't think there's anything, we don't
I don't-
subscribe to anything else.
We don't either. We don't either, I don't think.
The only thing we purchase are the books.
The books, and that's under manuals,
Right.
right? Yeah, that's under the manuals.
Right.
Do you know, is the contract going up to again?
yeah, it's going up from 66 to 68. I can't tell you the if
Can you give us a
Yeah, I'll
firm
send you
number
that
on that
numbers
too?
tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be great.
But if we purchase manuals, it has $0 spent this year, so did it get taken out of the wrong thing? If we did buy manuals.
I mean, we did get some.
Yep, I think they cost, we give 2 free copies to every town, and then they're usually like $6,
Right.
like $8.
No, I think they're a little more than that.
Yeah, I think they're $750, I think, now.
Oh, okay.
Which is why the $100,
It must not have come out of the right budget.
I don't think it did.
right.
Probably came out of office supplies or,
Or maybe maybe that's one of the reasons why the dues and subscriptions is more. Maybe it got pulled out of there. Okay, we'll have to find out from Nancy or whoever it is who,
Yeah, we
Kim,
can
to
check
find
with
out
Kim.
And under,
which she put this under for the manuals.
under travel, I would think is mileage, correct?
yeah.
Yeah,
There's nothing in mileage, we know Jim submitted mileage,
Mm-hmm,
so I'll check. to see.
no, that was last year's.
right.
I submit mileage usually in,
Quarter.
no, at the end of November after the legislative forum. There's no meeting, usually in December, so submit it that way. I submit an entire year's worth at a
Right.
time. Because I want to say last year it was like $170.
Okay.
Honestly, can't remember.
And what, mileage to,
To
To
Rockingham
the-
Planning meeting.
you know, but when you go to the registry of deeds, that gets charged to NEPR?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the fine is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, and I didn't go.
Well,
with the registry.
that travel covered that. If you-
And I go to the training and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
if you go to the law lecture series.
Right.
Right. in
That would
other
come
words,
out of there.
Right, the travel would come out of there, but
And
the
then,
training costs would
yeah,
come out of the other one, yeah.
This
Right,
year I didn't
which
go.
is, I'm assuming what the $70 was for somebody to go to training.
Mhm.
But the,
Last year, this year, didn't you?
No, that's usually in October. I think I went last October.
this year, the law lecture, they were really
I didn't
boring.
I think
I
I saw the
didn't see
notice.
anything that looked appropriate on the law lecture
I think I
series.
missed the notice.
They were fairly far away in Concord and Bristol
Yeah,
as well.
Like that.
Well, they
Either-
have
I
them
don't
in
remember
Derry.
seeing them, but if I saw them, that's probably why. I looked quickly, said I'm not interested, and then forgot about it.
yeah.
Yeah, well, this year they had one on ZBA functions, one on how to chair a municipal land use board, and the
I
third
guess
one.
I did see them, but they weren't, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I didn't really remember. I looked at it very briefly and
Right.
dismissed it.
New Hampshire Municipal Association, which I presume Newton is a member of,
we are.
will do on-demand trainings where they'll come before. Usually towns try to have a couple of land use boards sit in on them, right to know laws.
Yeah, there's one
How to
up there
deal with-
now.
Yeah, we-
There's a webinar for Right
Yeah,
to
so they
Know,
do
the
have
new webinar
webinars
for Right to
too,
Know.
but
Right.
sometimes it's a good, all of you have been on the boards for quite a while, but it's
Right.
even for new board members or if you've been doing it a long time, just sort of refresher courses can be good too.
Yeah, I go every once in a while.
I'm
too,
not
to
saying you need
refresh.
them, but
Yeah. 2 years ago, the Plastow hosted
The Right to Know.
a Right to Know.
I think that was 3 years ago. I think it was that long ago. I went to that one too. I went to about 3 different ones.
Well, it's just, every year, they have one for any town official. This year it was in Stratham. And the entire morning is the Right to Know, and then the afternoon is on roles and responsibilities of elected officials.
Yeah, I went to that one year, and it was
Yeah.
very interesting. I think it was like the first year I was actually elected to the board. I went to that.
That's when it's best.
Yeah,
After,
right.
if you attend too many Right to Know seminars in the same year, it becomes you start to notice, okay, gee, they're reading from the same script in every one of them.
Right.
Yeah,
You want to just find out, okay, were there any changes since, a year ago?
okay. So advertising, is that advertising if we're advertising for members?
Public hearings.
Oh.
Warrant articles.
Okay, and every once in a while, we have to have something on our own. We have to pay for it every once in a
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
Public
We'll
hearing
probably-
on
If
any,
we got to change, any zoning changes
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah,
We got-
okay.
we have to pay to advertise. So the circuit rider contract number is going to have to go up.
yeah,
by
Right.
some amount.
it's gonna end up probably going up a couple $100.
Right, okay.
Consulting services,
that can stay the
stay
same.
the same. Okay.
I was going to be cleaning, and there's a lot that's been cleaned out of the back room.
Uh-huh,
But I did a lot while Gail was on vacation. I was filling in for her.
right.
And then somebody brought it to my attention that they thought the budget might be getting tight, so not to come in and do any. So there's still a lot that needs
Yeah.
to be done out there,
Yeah.
but
We're-
we've probably sent about a ton of paper to recycle so far.
Right, and we're fine with the budget.
Copies. Where are we on, what does copies pay for?
I don't know, because we pay for our
Didn't we
machine.
have where's the contract for the machine?
They have it under equipment purchase. It's
Right.
Oh, okay.
We'll just pass that,
Right,
Okay.
but I don't know what copies is per se. maybe if you had to go to FedEx, oh, I bet you FedEx for big prints or something like
Oh, no, that would be if we need to go to the county and get a
Oh,
copy
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
a
right,
deed or
right.
whatever.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yes, that's good.
Dues and subscription we know needs to change. Equipment purchase. It still seems to be a reasonable number.
Well,
Is that mostly just the contract on the copier?
Correct.
And that's, you're not anticipating that the contract price is gonna go up next year?
no.
I would say you take $100 off of that.
Well, did you say something about a printer? That you needed a new printer? Oh, okay. Must be thinking about somebody else.
40 years old, I'll be telling you, I'm fine, so maybe take $100 off of that.
Actually, one of the things that we are, Gil's being kind, at some point we may want to look into replacing that computer. Except for the fact that all the new computers come with Windows 10. It's just, it's amazing how slow it gets.
It is extremely slow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we may have to look into that,
Clean it up a little or something.
yeah.
Is it an HP?
Maybe you,
Is that
maybe,
an HP?
Jim, is it an HP?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on its last legs, it's dying. And you might want to get it fixed, replaced pretty quick.
right,
Make sure you have everything backed up.
right. You
Yes.
can see if, well, it's supposed to be backed up to the,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
is
server.
completely back. However, it's one of those
The
things that you
cloud.
come in, you turn it on, you hit the button, you move the mouse, and you have time to go powder your nose before it, you come back in.
Coffee.
The little icon that sits there and it spins and you go, okay.
okay. All right, maybe you can touch base with Diane and ask her if she could get some sort of a number maybe from the people that we buy our equipment from, see if they can
And
give us a ballpark.
it may be something where they can go in and,
Oh, I meant for a new machine, just get an estimate of
Yeah,
what a new machine would cost.
Get a Dell.
I mean, it is still working.
Yeah, but you don't want it to die
No,
and then have to scramble to find money to buy it.
Well,
pay for a new one.
that's the scary part.
Right.
I would suggest leaving legal at that number. There's probably $50 we can take out.
We haven't paid him anything, or any legal,
not yet, but there's
nothing this year?
always a chance.
It was,
Yeah, I was just going to say, right at the moment, there's potential.
we had stuff for Kinsley, but that all come out of.
That came out of the NEPR, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we just take 1,000 out of the legal and put it in the equipment purchases? And that gives us enough money to buy a new
You want to take it out of legal, or do you want to take it out of
Legal.
consulting services?
legal. Because
Why don't you
the
take
thing about it
500
is,
out
if
of
we don't
each
have,
one?
if we get in trouble and we use up our money in legal, the selectmen are only going to back us up anyway.
Well, I was just going to say, it is one of those things that if
It happens in
we move money into equipment purchase, no matter where it's from,
Yeah.
and we need
Right.
it back in the line, we have line item transfer
Yeah.
power.
Well, why don't we think about taking 500 from the consultant and 500 from the legal and putting 1,000 into equipment?
Okay.
To cover the,
Yeah, $1,000 today should be able to buy.
Hand crank one. Okay, so.
have the selectmen requested us to reduce our budget again?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
No, they can cut this.
Okay, manuals, let's, we can, if you would touch base with Nancy and find out the last time we got the books from the RPC, did those come out of this?
Yeah, I think, but that's.
they
that's what
should be
it
coming out of
That's
this
what it should
budget
come
line.
out of, and
Yeah.
we should leave it in the budget.
Right, we should leave it in, but I would like to make
Yeah.
sure that it's
Right.
coming out of the right,
Right.
Yeah, because we're going through, I think we have space for one more alternate. So that means that we're buying at least 11.
You buy more than that. I carry the boxes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but remember, you had the ones for the ZBA also.
I get the whole town.
Okay.
The whole town. What is this one, 2017?
Yeah.
So if the manuals are, I believe they're 750, that's, you know, you're in the 80
Yeah, right.
to $90.
Right.
You get two
$100
boxes
for-
this size.
I seem to I remember helping you carry those in.
I've carried both of them in for
Well, she
several
got him
years.
into her own car though herself.
Yeah. But yeah, and actually last year, for the past 2 years, we haven't ordered enough because I've always given I get a free copy as an RPC, and I've always brought it in.
Right. So we need to take another count on how many we need to order for the planning board and then order
And actually, what
whatever.
we need to do is go, okay, keep a list of, okay, Roger, you
Check off
didn't,
when
you
you get
didn't
it.
say yes, so you don't get one.
No, you have to give one to every member, and we should have 1 or 2 extras in case we get new members.
Right.
What I did last
Yeah.
year, I got
Right.
two extra.
Oh, that's right, we had,
Paul saw one already, and I
Yeah.
got one left.
Right.
So that's good.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Office supplies, do we need to put that up at all, or are we gonna squeak by?
I don't know, I bought a lot of pens this year. I don't think, I bought more bulk. I bought envelopes in bulk. I think that I'm pretty good in supplies.
Okay, so I guess we can leave that the same.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
We haven't run out of postage money yet?
Nope.
Again, the clients pay when they do out of NEPA.
Yeah. Yeah, but you still gotta pay for all
Our
of,
packets
send
and
them the
stuff.
packages to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Gail is really good on, gee, if you show up on the day she has the packets together,
Yep,
here you go.
All right,
that's all right.
okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you for some reason did a zoning change that affected less than 100 parcels, you'd have to notify all of those property owners. So it's good to have. I don't think you are this year, but next year if something came up, you'd want to have the postage to be able to notice them.
Say it again. For
If you
what?
do a zoning ordinance change that impacts less than 100 parcels, you have to notify by certified letter each one of those property owners individually. You can't just do a general public notice.
I
Say we
think
were
that's
get,
something they changed, but
They
I remember
changed
they
it
changed
2
that.
or 3
Yeah.
years ago. You just haven't had anything that would qualify
Right.
under that.
say we change something in the Rose Corner Village District,
oh, any of the.
we would have to send everybody in the village district.
If there's less than 100 parcels, which there probably is.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, all right.
However,
Well, also, if we have a cell tower application,
Then
You have to
then
notify
you
all
have
the
to
towns within
but
50
you-
miles.
You can charge that to the applicant,
right.
okay,
but
okay. All right,
Um,
that's good. Salary,
Salary, how are we doing on that? In terms of do we've got enough for her to accommodate increases?
So we should cut that like 22 grand?
I get a crank computer, a punch in the check.
And no pay.
Gail, when is this year-to-date list?
As of the 9
Well.
to 17.
Oh, duh.
So yes, there's enough till the end. Our fiscal year's January to December, correct?
Right.
Right.
No, but I want to make sure we've got enough for 2018 to cover an increase
right,
and
sure.
you know. Though it looks like there's still plenty there.
Plenty there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like, you know, it must been, you must have worked less hours than we had budgeted for.
Correct.
Right.
I wasn't as busy at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right, but you
Okay.
never know. I mean, sometimes it's
No, I've been
gangbusters.
getting my
But I just, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but it would be nice that we have at least, you know, the hours, all of the hours she's supposed to work, plus times whatever it is, her rate plus a little bit more, in
Right.
case there's a raise in the year. That's I think how we should set the budget.
Sure. Okay, well, I'll check on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Telephone. That's the regular telephone bill.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
a regular telephone
Yeah.
bill. And that doesn't look like we're running into trouble on
Right.
that, so we probably.
And I
need to-
think training needs to stay where it is too, because you never know. I mean, all of a sudden next year, they may come up with something really good and,
Well,
We all wanna go.
we actually increased it to 400, I think, 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Because the law lecture series was something that there were 4 and 5 people from the
Right.
board that were attending
Right.
at
That's why I don't think I'd mess with it.
$20 per.
Might have even been more than that.
Gail, do you remember the price of the law lectures?
Like 350, yeah. It couldn't have
They're-
been that
They're,
high.
No.
they're fairly expensive. They're at least 50, I believe, maybe 65.
$65 maybe,
I
something
Well,
like
it,
that.
put this way, it's one of those, if you only attend one, it's like $20.
No,
And
it's
if you
more than-
attend all
it's more
3,
than
it's
that.
50.
No, it's
There's
more
no,
than
they're
that.
all,
Yeah, it's more.
Beer's
Okay.
35, Jim.
Okay.
Bare minimum's 35.
Yeah.
I've gone to 40 of them, so I know.
However, if you actually
think
sign
the
up for
prices
all
even-
3,
they've gone up
it's like
from there.
getting
Get a
one
little
for
bit of
free.
a
I do
Right,
too,
right.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
again,
think you're
Jim,
talking about more like 40 or 50 bucks a
Which is-
lecture.
Which is why this one was 70.
well, that's what I was just gonna mention. The last ones that she said that were coming up, they were like 70 and $100.
Right,
And that's why I didn't bother going. I figured that
Oh,
was
no,
too much.
the law lecture series from the Municipal Association is still in the 35. There are some other things like
Okay,
the budget seminar that I believe is 65.
some are more.
That's an
in-depth.
all-day event.
Right,
And they have a 2-day workshop
right.
on budgets that's like 145.
Yeah, but that'd be ridiculous for one of us to go to that.
Right,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
technically aimed at selectmen, but they send us all the same paperwork.
right.
But those usually, you're getting meals are included, whereas the law lecture series is 2 hours and you get a pretty book.
Yeah.
I've got like 10 years worth of those books. The problem is they're starting to repeat.
Yeah,
And I went to one that was the same thing the second time. It was the exact same text, it just had a different cover,
oh, wow.
because there hadn't been any changes.
I do feel as though every law lecture I've gone to, right, I've learned something new. Every one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're very good.
Yeah.
And the big thing is if you got a question in your head, if you go to that law lecture and because you got something happening with your board and you ask them, it helps you a little bit
Oh, yeah.
as well.
Oh, yes, they're.
That's why that's why I like going to them.
Yeah.
Learn a lot.
So I would leave training at 400.
How about the travel?
I would honestly leave that at the same because, first of all, that number's this is the list of the 2017 budget amounts, not the actual spends.
Right, we still have 3 months.
Well, you got the year-to-date spend.
Right, but like, I don't submit my
Right,
expenses until
Right.
November.
right,
Right,
So last year was like 170,
yeah.
I don't
I
remember.
believe it was around 170-ish
that, yeah.
dollars.
So,
Um,
all right,
And you consider the fact that 300 plus miles a year to attend the RPC meetings.
Right. And there's 2 years to go, so you got to double that. So
Well, no, only one driver, 2 people.
okay.
Sit around and talk about what the answer is, go look it up.
okay.
Mary is the other RPC commissioner, so
know, yeah.
needless to say, I don't look at her and go, yeah, you have to drive yourself.
She could do it. And catch her at the post office.
Yeah.
I can figure out where it is in here. But anyway, okay, we don't really have to, if you wanted to see,
Okay.
you can look it up if you.
No, but it's just,
But yeah, I agree, we can keep it the same number.
yeah. Especially if there is a decent law lecture series, because you're going to have people, putting in for mileage.
Right.
And that's also, that covers if we send Gail to
Concord.
something.
Right,
Right. Okay.
okay, sounds good. So
Oh, people
Jen will
gotta-
give us some numbers for RPC.
Yep, I'll email them tomorrow.
Okay, and,
Actually, I can email them to the whole board. I'll just blind CC you so you don't reply all, just so everybody can see them.
Yep. Sounds good.
So we might be looking at a minor increase.
Right,
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, it's just enough to cover RPC, and it's basically salary increases
Yeah.
is all we're looking for increases
Right.
on.
I mean, we have managed to keep the same number.
we've been pretty good. We've
Yeah,
been pretty
we-
steady about.
Yeah,
And we've gone down when they've
Yeah,
asked us to go
we
down.
went down by the 5% the year that they asked us to.
And didn't come
and-
back up for a
yeah.
while.
Right.
Actually, that's, I think, the same, the number that we went down
Yeah, I
to with the
think
5%.
we're still below where we were 6 or 7 years ago.
Absolutely,
Right.
yes. Okay, all right, that sounds good.
I do have, just if you can indulge me for a second, your master plan is starting to get very, very old. So just something to maybe consider for next year's budget. Maybe not for this year, but this time next year.
Oh, to put some more
Well-
money,
Putting in
money in the
some money
budget to work on it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that consultant line would also cover.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some, even if it was just half of that amount, but RPC's ability to do a lot of matching for things like master plan updates is dwindling, so that reserve isn't really there anymore. Just something to
Sure,
keep in mind for the future.
okay.
Yeah, because that was actually the line that the selectmen thought, since I believe we received the matching grant for the MS4 work, and that was the line that the selectmen were like, oh, is the planning board going to use their consultancy line? And it was like, no, that's,
That's for the selectmen
yeah,
to
that
do, not-
MS4 is not a planning board document, it's a town document.
Right, okay.
I mean, if worse comes to worse and the selectmen can't find it, they may come in and go, well, you haven't used that money from this year, so.
Yeah. Okay,
But that was the idea, was
All right.
for master plan updates.
okay. Well, we can come back with some, changed numbers for next meeting.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so it sounds like a number from Jen, and we got to work out the salary numbers.
Sure. Sounds
Everything else
good.
we're in good shape on.
Yep.
Good.
And that was the only piece of correspondence we had that I read, so I think,
Move to adjourn.
Actually, I think Jim may have gotten a copy as a selectman or as an RPC rep, and then Barbara, I believe you also got a copy. RPC is going to be doing the kickoff meeting for the Powwow Watershed collaboration project that we've been working on, and we're actually wanting Newton to appoint a representative. The goal is to start to do a watershed management plan across all of the towns that are in the Powwow River watershed, and then also the town of
Okay.
Amesbury, since it is their town's water supply. So it would be basically just be a kickoff meeting of a group trying to get some dialogue between towns about what the different water issues and challenges, and just also giving some basic information to people about what's going on with all of the impoundments and the ponds and the lakes and all of the little streams going on in the Powwow watershed, because it's an underutilized and understudied watershed.
What
So
day of the week?
It's October 23rd at 6:30 or 7 in Kingston.
If the board would like, I am free that night. That's a Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, it was sent to the selectmen and the town administrator to ask someone to be appointed. It wasn't necessarily the planning board, but
Well, I was trying to, if we ask the board of selectmen, I can tell you who they'll appoint.
fine with me. I would.
Unless
I'm not
somebody else
able-
really wants to.
I'm not able to go.
Is Julie going to be leading that?
Julie and I, along with Teresa Walker from my office, are all
Okay.
co-chairing that project, so. But I can let Julie know if you'd like. Certainly more than one person can go. Conservation Commission was also noticed.
Oh, okay, so,
So this is gonna just be the kickoff meeting. We'll definitely be having some bigger meetings that will try and bring in more and more people, so. If you're not. I think we're gonna move it to the library, just because the town hall in Kingston has an awful meeting room.
Can you send a message
Yep.
to all of us?
I'll include that on my message about the planning, or the
Okay.
RPC rates.
That'd be good. Did you want to, motion that it was fine for Jim to go to the meeting, or?
well, from the sounds of it, it's the selectmen that will be doing the appointment.
There doesn't have to be an official appointment, just the
Oh,
notice
okay.
was sent to selectmen, so.
Okay, well, we'll note that you volunteered.
In all honesty, it doesn't really
How's that?
matter what you choose to do
Okay,
for appointing,
okay.
or not.
I do have a few free Wednesdays between now and the end of the,
Heaven forbid you have nothing to do, right?
Right. Okay, thank
I
you for
still haven't figured
reminding
out
us
this
of
week I
that.
have
Yeah, sorry,
Friday
I
night
didn't
free.
mean-
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, are we
Anything
good?
else?
Not from me.
Move to adjourn? I
Second.
beat him.
That's okay.
Okay, we are at 7:38, yes. Thank you.